welcome back to the Blue Honor Flag. I'm author Kay Williams, author of op-dec, Operation Deceit, the Triloquia Trilogy, and Blue Honor, Civil War drama that my blogs are named for. So I also have a written blog at authorkaywilliams.com that you can view. And I'm on TikTok as Captain Mael. So you can hop over there and see me weekly making posts. And that's where Shagbottom Theater lives now. You may see on this YouTube's page, Shagbottom Theater listing, and that's a lot of the old stuff. So that has moved over to TikTok and continues over there. So you'll see Sadie, which is who Shagbottom Theater had started with. And of course, last month you met Hildy. That is the newest member of the team at Shagbottom Theater. She is 10 months now in February. A rescue cat, belongs to Aunt Rachel on TikTok. That's my roommate, my daughter's aunt. And as I introduced her before, newest member, she is a black/tortoise kitty, short hair, very, very cute, very sweet. So anyway, last year I went through and looked at the blog posts that I had been making since, the blog has been living on my website since 2014, and it's absolutely amazing. That's 10 years of stuff, 10 years. So I'm going back through and looking at some old posts and seeing how that plays out. A series that I have loved doing, and I managed to make posts here and there for still on TikTok, is where that started, is what it's like being an author. So many of you may have questions about what's it like behind the scenes? What do you go through as an author? Am I normal, please? Please help, because I'm experiencing this. And I hope that, it reaches authors as well as readers and lets them know kind of like what it's like just in the day-to-day, because I don't think that we get a legitimate view of it from film. So in many cases, film, because it is a condensed span of time within the film, you've got to develop things quickly, and people forget that. They think that everything's just going to happen so quickly and overnight, and that isn't the case. Musicians can probably relate. You're an overnight sensation that's been overnight for the last 20 years, right? Writing takes a lot of fortitude, staying power. You don't just, sit down at the table and hack something out for a month to 6 months and, off to an editor and off you go. And, I've just written a novel that people just love. It takes a lot more than that. And it can be pretty stressful in the trenches. So you're trying to get it out on the page, and you're trying to make it make sense and all of that stuff, and people are ignoring you, or they discount you because they know you in their personal lives, and they're just like, yeah, that's that's just Kay, yeah, we know that she has degrees, we know that she's really intelligent, we know that she has this capability, but does she? That is faced a lot, at least by me. I mean, I'm sure other people also face that, and they're constantly wondering, why don't people believe me? A lot of people that or even the audience, their first impressions make it difficult for them to reconcile, and that's their fault, because they're bringing to table all of their biases and all of their assumptions about you that may or may not be true, and they won't release them in the face of anything. It's really difficult to say that an author or anyone that you meet online or even in person is not a good writer when you won't even look at their work. You know what I mean? It's like, well, that's kind of silly, isn't it, Franny? It's like you haven't picked up the book, you haven't read anything from it, you haven't read anything from that author, and yet you're like, I don't think they're capable. Well, that's super. What gave you that impression? You literally have nothing to go on. So that is a difficulty we authors face. I'm like, that's, is it something about this? I don't look like, beard, bad breath, etc. Not happening for you. I should have glasses. What does an author look like to you that you think that this is not what an author looks like? Okay, is it the cute t-shirts, with the nerdy logos and stuff on it? I'm not really sure what all that is, but I talk extensively about that throughout that series. That's a great thing to catch. And you can easily find it on my TikTok if you go and you find my collections and you look. I have everything sorted out, so it'll be in the Blue Honor Vlogs section, and there will be a series like that. Unfortunately, I don't have enough followers yet to create playlists, and I wish that TikTok would open that up to business accounts. People who have said, like, I'm a business, that they should have that functionality. Make it much better for them to organize their posts and place those, accordingly for viewers, and they would probably get better viewership that way. It's really hard to scroll through somebody's stuff and go, oh God, where is this? And stuff only stays relevant, when it's in those top 9 boxes. If you've got to go further than that, a lot of people aren't. A lot of people don't even click on your page, so it's whatever shows up in there for you. So your post has got to hit, and it's got to get repeated out to people. And that can be difficult, because if they're sending it out to folks who aren't interested in books or that topic or anything in particular, yeah, that you might get a view, but you're not getting the likes that add on to that and make it exponential. Like, we're gonna keep passing this out to people. For instance, my most viewed video last year was a video that I forgot to post. It was of my marigold garden that I had grew one year that overgrew. It was gorgeous. They were probably about waist high to me. I'm just a bit over 5 foot, and they were like waist high, so they were probably about 3 feet. It was amazing, and just these bright orange flowers, and it was just a gorgeous fall day, and just blowing in the breeze, and you could hear the chimes in the background. So it is kind of an ASMR Zen moment sort of thing, and people really liked that. It was thousands of views, and I'm just laughing because I'm like, it's not my content. This has nothing to do with the books or anything. But, hopefully them liking and sharing. Maybe they got some of my other stuff and then they realize, oh, Shy Bottom Theater is here. Oh, there's books. And it's like, how do you articulate this stuff? A lot of people just ignore it. And that is how it is. If you understand ROI, which stands for return on investment, so time is an investment. So when you spend time on social media attempting to connect with folks, you have an ROI on that. And it's about 1% of, whatever time and effort that you put in it, you'll get about 10% back. Up to 10%, I should say. Usually around 1%, especially when you're struggling to get noticed. And honestly, it only takes hitting really big time. Better than my marigolds, obviously. It takes hitting that, and getting out there and just watching that thing climb. So probably where you get views, tens of thousands of views. would probably be very helpful for you. But good luck. Attention spans are terrible now, especially on social media. People aren't paying attention. And that is why I spoke in a post that I recently put up on my Facebook page about having the clout of a big publisher behind you is kind of meaningless if you don't have the readership, because your readers, your base, the people who already like you are the ones that are going to support you and help build around you. A publisher, it only matters for that bestseller list. You're only going to get to the bestseller list if you've already got the people behind you. And a publisher is not going to place people behind you. They're not going to give you ad time. They're not going to give you any of that. You're supposed to do that. So whether you're independent or top publishing house published, doesn't matter. You still have to do all the legwork. And the only thing they do, you basically pay them to put their logo on your stuff. And yes, I do mean that. You pay them because they take 90% or more of the royalties. You're still expected to pay. If they give you an advance, you have to make all of that money back in sales. And if you don't, good luck ever publishing with them again. And it's just, there is not a difference. The only difference is that logo. And for some reason, there are people who, unless that's on there, and that tells me that it's passed some litmus test, I'm not looking at it. And honestly, it's just people who are paid high salaries to just sit in an ivory tower and say, I didn't like it. Oh, I like it, but I don't know. Oh, I'll think about it. Or, oh, I really like this one. More likely, what they do is like you see in the film Elf. They sit around a table like a bunch of gaggling idiots trying to pick out the peach story. And, oh, that's vulnerable. They'll really like that. They're just trying to find a hook. And then they hire somebody already that they have from agents to write that for them. That's why you can't get in. It's already, it is so highly manufactured and extremely capitalistic. It has nothing to do with the art. It literally is just about the business, selling a product. You figure out what the taste is for this term. Like fashion. Lavender is the it color this summer. That's what happened with, let's go all the way back to Twilight. Vampires were very hot, very fashionable at the time. That's how that got published. And it wasn't even edited well. It wasn't written well and it wasn't edited well. There are so many more independent books out there, probably on the topic, that would have been far better and were ignored by both readers and publishers and agents. So it is quite a conundrum, So that's kind of what we face in the business end, and I talk about that through the series. I talk about personal experiences in life, etc. Just, letting people know, yes, as an author, you are normal. We all kind of go through this. Expect rejection is very difficult. Like an actor would tell you with Hollywood, it's very difficult. One day you could be the hottest thing, the next they don't even know who you are. They've just completely thrown you out. So expect it. The only thing that you really need to concern yourself with is your art and how you're going to produce your art and put your art out to the public, and care far more about that than, oh, they love me, they really love me. That's nice. It can help. It could buy you a house. It isn't going to have the staying power, If you're seeking notoriety, I don't know that that's the way to accomplish it. It happens so very few. And almost always we see, like J.K. Rowling, they may not be worthy of those accolades. And time and again, they prove that. We place them on a pedestal and then they show us their true face. And it's tragic and it hurts so many people. So, being concerned, I think, with your work more than anything. And then, of course, your readership, because you build a relationship with them and you care about them and they love your stuff and they will tell others how much they love your stuff. And it's a good, positive relationship. And I do highlight some of the difficulties in there. Some people, there will be fights in your comments. There will be people trying to DM you. I always see Neil Gaiman receiving messages. Will you read my fan fiction, or will you read that? And he's like, please don't ask me this. The issue is that whatever you send, you're going to imagine a connection into something that they've written and then try to sue them for copyright infringement, stealing your intellectual property. Please don't. Please don't send them things. Don't ask anybody to look at your stuff except for an editor. Pay somebody who is an editor to look at your stuff, who does that professionally. Don't go to other authors, screenwriters, filmmakers, etc. to look at your stuff. Please. We can't. We legally cannot. So don't feel dejected and stuff. If you refuse to listen to this advice and go ahead and do it, and somebody says absolutely not, they have to protect themselves financially and their integrity. So it is best that you don't send them anything. Stick to proofreaders. If you have beta readers available to you, that's why it's so important to build a readership and relationship with folks, and to be able to ask them to read your stuff. If you're not going to put it out there as a beta read because you're like, oh, I don't want anybody to see this before I'm done, then you really need to invest in an editor, somebody who can go through, read it, and tell you everything that's wrong with it, and then give it back to you. And yeah, that's going to cost money. That's a service. That is an exchange, and their time deserves compensation, and it is worth it to you to pay for that. So don't sit there and think that somebody should owe that to you for free. You could send it to editors. You're probably not, agents, publishers. You're likely to just get it thrown back at you with no comments or a canned letter that's not really going to go into detail. So again, editor. Find an editor, somebody who enjoys editing. Pay them to read it and tell you what your problem is. You want to know. You're going to need to suck it up, Buttercup, and accept that you're not Tolstoy. Let them tell you what's wrong with it so that you can go back to the drawing table with your work and fix your problems. That's how you get to beat Tolstoy. Nobody's perfect. So we have to accept that we bring our little project to whomever and it has all these pimples on it. We got to get that acne cleared up. The editor is the doctor that can do that, so please listen to them. Don't ask them for advice about, how do I make this a bestseller? They don't know that. Nobody knows that. That's like a hit or miss. That is luck. That is hitting at the right time. That is having all your ducks in a row and being prepared. A good step toward that is listening to what they have to say about what's wrong with your writing, the plot holes, the grammar, all of that. Where you're lacking, this is weak. This needs a little bit more, and you can work on those things so that your next draft is stronger. So that when you do get it edited and you do get it put out there, the readers are like, this was good. They really put their work in. Okay, so hopefully you'll check out that series. There's a lot there, a lot of information here on the vlog. Even I have talked extensively about different things for writers, and hopefully people will use that as a tool to help themselves improve their chances and their outcomes, etc., your return on investment. And you'll be back here next time. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe. Thank you.